It's night sweat.
Should I put a little on?
Or what was it? What was
you know
it?
pH balance for a woman?
Yeah.
That's what I had to wear because I have sensitive pits.
Oh.
I wore like non-scented ladies deodorant.
Did you have to put it
Because
on?
anytime I wore like Speed Stick or something, it would burn.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Now I remember.
I'd get inflamed because that shit was just caustic. You know.
It's
I
hard
remember
to believe
that,
it's been
Corey.
like 25 years, guys.
You know what I think of? The indoor swimming pool.
We'll start with that.
That I always wanted to have a pool party at Christopher's
At
house.
Coon Jr.
Oh my God! You know how bad I'd be drooling every time I
Oh
go
my
over there. It's
God,
like, oh my God! I can put a band over here. We can have people
We
recording.
did not
in
take
here.
advantage of that.
Dude, we could have
Why did we-
girls in swimsuits
played-
in your
Yeah, I know.
house.
We played more
There
ping
was
pong
Jitley.
than had fucking nude swimming parties.
You know what it
God.
was though? I think Chris didn't want his parents to like think he was being too crazy because they were letting him live there by himself.
yeah.
And I took advantage
He
of
did
it.
right. He did right.
Yeah, he
what
did.
he was supposed to do.
But-
Christopher always did right. What he was supposed
When he
to
did have a
do.
party
He's
though,
really good.
suddenly there was two girls skinny dipping in his pool. I'm like, that never happens, you know?
Ah,
Because I used to record at night down in his basement, and I walked by and all of a sudden,
like your girlfriend?
because Jay was there, and he brought like two girls, and all of a sudden they were naked in the pool, and I'm like,
Jay was like married at the time.
no, not Jay Leneski.
Oh, they meant Jay Facemaker.
Jay Kruger, no.
yeah.
Scott, do you know what movie this is? That's Skippy from Family Ties, by the way.
Oh, is this Trick or Treat?
Yeah.
That's better, Mike. I'm short.
Yeah, as long as it's like
Why
less,
did I just know that? I like can't remember where my keys are, and it's like
Because
all of a
you
sudden
were-
it's like, oh, here's
it's
an
like-
obscure Gene Simmons movie from 1982.
Skippy
Well, because
in
you
it.
were old enough to see it in the theater and we weren't.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I
You were
did.
probably there. You
did.
probably went, Gene Simmons is in a movie, man. We're there.
I thought that dude, the guitar player dude, demon dude,
Yeah.
was the coolest.
Yeah,
Was
I know.
what was his name? Malfader or something like that?
I'm about to watch it and do like a review of it. So
okay.
if you want to accompany me,
We have a
Yeah.
watching party.
maybe, yeah, because people enjoyed when I did the thing for Metal Lords. Have you seen that one yet? Metal Lords? It's hilarious.
And by the way, that is how people played For Whom the Bell Tolls in local bands.
Oh, I know. We did too
With the
at
guitar?
first.
With
until
the guitar,
Corey
not
took
with
over.
the bass, because you had those 15. They always had like the TNT 100, and
Yeah.
you know you couldn't get that sound out of the bass.
Well,
and
which
you never
bass?
had pedals.
Nobody had Yeah, you're right. Distortion pedals for bass players was
No,
not a thing at the time. Too
No,
much, you know. So.
they never did that. So I was like, yeah. He's like, I know that's a bass player. It's like, but that's how everybody played it because
Yep.
it wouldn't cut through. If
That's
it
what
was a
Al and
bass
I
player.
did when we played it. I would just do the lead part, then Corey joined the band. And
I wish we would have had a piano play it.
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding.
How about somebody hit the bell? Zing. It's like we have a lot of
Big
people
old
in this
gong.
band. Yeah.
Oh, that's where the broken cymbal comes into play, though.
Yeah, Chris had many of those.
You guys, I bought a distortion pedal and a flanger to
Just for that
just
song?
to do that.
Yes.
Corey was a trooper, man.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how the band did come together, though. People always ask how you get a band together. Like, Al and I jammed together, and then we met Corey, and then from Corey we met Chris. It was just like this easy process in a way.
Well, don't forget the
Well,
other
in
band
actuality,
member we
yeah,
had.
What
that-
happened
that's true.
was Alan Douglas and Mike Gerritsen had
He's got the
been
thing.
a guitar team for quite a while.
Are we recording
The
this
team.
right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going? Okay.
Scott was showing me a bunch of old nostalgia stuff, and it reminded me to look through we have our photo book and stuff, but I found some old pictures of Comstock and all that. That was a wild show. I remember showing up, and there was like a stage you guys put down and everything.
It was wood on the ground.
Yeah, that's all we needed. But
I think it was pallets with wood on top of it.
do we have a PA system like
Oh,
from
yeah.
like who provided it though?
I think it could have been Acheron.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Croxton was playing in Acheron at that time, and
Okay.
he went later on to Impaler and stuff like that.
Johnny.
Yeah, he's still around.
We did Comstock 2 years. We did one 93 and we did one 94.
I only remember one of
And
them.
I do. I remember because 94 was after high school, and Jenny Dooley came out to our show. She was a waitress at that whatever bar in Coon Rapids, right by us. Not Shortstop, but the other one, Mr. Days or whatever
Okay.
it used to be called.
Yeah.
And some guys from high school, Jason Givens,
Oh, God.
came out, and yeah, they came all the way out to Comstock to see us. I was like, no way,
just
I didn't
remember
even know
Sarah
you.
being out there.
I'm like, I didn't even know you guys like this. They're like, we're not going to miss up an opportunity to come see you guys.
Yeah, because we had some
jam."
high school friends follow us for a little while. Then they kind of disappeared. I know.
Well, it's
Sam
because
followed
they
us.
could go out there and drink and
Yeah.
tent
Jason
it, you
Given,
know. I
though.
mean,
Yep.
which was cool.
Jason Given was at our first gig ever, Lisa's party. So it's weird that he came out to that.
Well,
Yeah.
the first one was out in the field. That's when I had the Charlie Brown shirt on and the Gibson.
That's the night footage we have, right? Where there was Christmas lights on the
Yes.
drums.
They both started in the field.
Yeah, we had to play in the barn one year.
They moved it to the barn because of I
Rain.
think rain. It was.
Rain.
Yeah.
Wasn't it tornadoes?
Yeah,
too?
we played in the
Tornadoes,
barn
yeah.
the
We
We
first
played in
year.
the barn, and that
The
was
first
when
year.
that's when I had my Series 10
Oh my god.
5-string, and we played Truth Hurts.
Wow.
I
by
don't remember what we
Propane.
played. That's cool.
And
Is this before we opened for propane? Or were
Yeah,
we
it was
doing
after.
it? Okay,
Oh,
we were
was it?
so excited
I
about
think we were gonna play with them again, and Blem was there,
Yeah.
and Blem featured and came up and sang on it and screamed all the put on your head. And go
He was like our Scott Ian,
straight.
you know. And then Alan Town would come up and sing whenever we did Orgasmatron, he would sing that.
Dude, that dude is still he has 3 bands.
Alan Town. I saw him not too long ago at the Caboose. He's still doing. Yeah, he's like the Chuck
And now
Billy
he's
of
doing
Minnesota.
photo and video and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, that was Olivia's farm. Her name was Olivia.
Okay.
And she was friend with Tom Croxton, and then you remember Dave Yeager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And piling those bands together.
If it wasn't for Dave.
It was bands like Porcelain God. I think
Yep.
did the.
Yeah,
I don't think original Psycho Head played it, but I think that
Yeah,
one
they
of
did.
the offshoots.
The
of
first
Psycho Head
ones was the first year it was Psycho Head.
was Psycho Head, and
Because
then the
they
next
played
one
Bomb Track and shit, and everyone freaked out because they played Rage Against.
I love those
Like,
guys.
this is brand new. Then they became what? Sad Acid Scene or something like that.
Well, I remember our drummer.
yeah,
Remember that name?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and our
Thank
drummer Sean from SNAFU went and played with Ed, and they did something else. I can't remember the name of the.
And Sean became a cop.
Yeah.
What?
No, he's a prison guard.
Ooh,
Oh, I thought he was a cop for some reason.
kind of scary for some reason. I don't know.
I ran
Still.
into somebody yeah, you remember Sean? He's a cop now. I was like, what?
I
up
think
in
he did go to
prison.
work for St. Paul for a little while, but I think he settled into the prison guard.
Sure, yeah.
But so Olivia and Tom Croxton worked with Dave Yeager to get all those bands out there, and I think Tom had something to do with the PA setup, and then I think they had a daytime and a nighttime thing because part of it was in the barn, and part of it was out front, like that picture that you sent me. We played on the 4 slabs of wood. I don't remember hardly anything, but that was with Bryce,
Yeah.
so that must have been the first incarnation of SNAFU, and then the second one, I think Rick played, but
Dude, Rick.
Yeah, I remember that.
I kept running into Rick
I don't remember Rick.
you go to Hooters a lot.
years later. No, in other bands.
You don't remember Rick?
You worked for
Dude,
Hooters.
I went out to Buffalo.
Rick, their bass player?
Yeah.
I remember Bryce.
You don't remember Rick? Oh,
No.
Rick was
Rick was the
cool as
second one.
hell.
I went out to Buffalo
Huh.
to some bar to try out for Menace or one of these bar bands.
Yeah.
When I wasn't doing anything, and I
fit
showed
right
up with
in.
my bass, and the guy in front of me to go up on stage was Rick. And I left. It was just I waited all night, and then, hey, Rick, come up and play whatever song I practiced on. Was what they had him play. I was like, I'm out. I'll see you later.
You didn't even try?
Didn't even try.
Yikes.
Stood there all night with my bass, yeah, is it time? Nope.
So Rick was really good?
Well, it wasn't. It was just the
Rick
night
would-
was over.
Rick
I'm
could
like, I'm
pretty
just
much
done.
step into any position. And
Okay.
I don't think that we rehearsed much with Rick to start. I think that just Lee was just like, okay, just play this. He just did. He was really good. I mean, he was really solid bass player. And Bryce was a different style. He was the jazz
Yeah.
bass player, and he brought a whole different thing. But
had the thing all up
he
here
was
was
the
all
Northtown Schmidt Music
Yeah.
guitar
Yes.
salesman, and I bugged him every single day till he finally came over and played with us and practiced, and then he's like, okay, I'll come and practice with you guys. And then he came and practiced with us, which I have no idea why he still did that, but then he got laid. And
That helps.
Then he was like, "Oh yeah, I can go back and hang out with these guys."
So you had to
it's
do
like,
what
there's
you had
a lot
to do,
of girls
Scott.
around here, you know. So
Oh, I thought you did some favors for him to
Oh.
coax him into the band. Oh, no, it wasn't me.
I didn't really
I-
like his bass playing that much. Now Rick, the other hand, no.
Yeah. He would have been worth it.
Yeah, Rick just showed up one day and he was just there. He was just like the perfect
If
insertion.
I saw a picture, I'd remember him. But that's funny because I worked at Schmidt Music in Northtown as well, but it must have been after his.
Yeah, you kind of yeah.
And
Was
he's-
it?
I think so.
I thought you knew him from that.
I don't know because we never worked together. Like we
There's a
never
lot
Oh.
of Schmidt folk though.
Yeah.
That could be.
You know,
That's how we have all these connections from Schmidt, like Tony Zaccardi. You know?
Tony. Yep, Tony. Tony and I work together at Schmidt. Ben Bantam that owns Music Go Round. Tim
Mhm.
Coletti, Bob Jensen from Hairball, the guy that does the Alice Cooper band now and stuff like that. He used to do the job that I used to do, and Mike Bahowden from Disturbed and Sick and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Schmidt's like this weird little hub for all these musicians. You know?
Yep.
That's where I started playing.
But so
I think everybody got that through the crash course.
Is that how we had the steeple connection? Was through Tony. Through Schmidt?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I was working with Tony, and I was doing SNAFU, and we had done the show together, and it was like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this much. And I'd go to Darlene, hey, we want to play with Sanctus. Oh yeah, come on. And so then Tony and I worked together, and him and his friends had the band Steeple, and I knew that they were a little bit different in style, but I thought, well, put them on a big stage and see how it works out. And so that's why.
They brought like 1,000 people to the Mirage.
Yeah.
That's when Al met Ginny.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Oh yeah, from Sod.
May 29th, 1995.
Ginny's very cool.
That's how long.
Sod, I
That's
forgot
how
about
long
that.
it
Yeah.
I still have the T-shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
It fits. It shrunk in the dryer.
Did people show up thinking it was SOD by any chance? You guys are.
You know what everybody
for
wanted to
SOD?
see us play was the Ozzy Lita. Close
Oh.
Your Eyes Forever thing.
Oh God! With you and her singing. Bust out the 12-string.
She
is
still
that it?
plays.
Who the hell wanted that? Probably.
Probably me.
Yeah, I can see.
Dude, I see.
You had your later ready.
She lives in Anoka. I see her all the time.
Yeah, I know.
She
has
ran
her-
for Anoka City Council last year.
Well, she
Or the year
she
before?
used to do that Friday night jam party thing.
Yeah.
Now you guys used to when you guys used to go to like Mirage shows and stuff like that. Were you driving yet? Were you of driving age? So
We were, but we didn't drive.
Yeah, Dino always drove us.
You know,
He
always drove it.
drove.
Well, it depends.
Mike
Do you guys
had a
remember
truck.
do you guys remember the train?
I remember the tracks
yes,
everywhere.
the slow train.
The
that
slow
would-
train. It's like you'd be going to a concert. You know,
It was
you'd
right
be
there in
ready to
26th.
go, and it was right by the
Oh,
Mirage.
just to the
shit.
south of Mirage.
and
right
it would
there.
be forever. You'd just be sitting there waiting for
like
this
I'm missing
train.
overkill right
Well,
now.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
then, Hiawatha was a war zone.
Yeah.
It was 4 lanes, and there was potholes
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, it was bad.
And
Every
they're like,
building was there
This is
from
going
like
to be
the
light
1900s.
rail. Do you remember I didn't have my driver's license, and I would take us in the van? I would take my dad's van. and
Well,
I
remember
would
the
drive
time
us
we
down
the
there.
stole your
designated
dad's van and went to the Minnehaha Falls with a couple of chicks?
A lot
you
of fun
know.
stories about stealing well, not stealing cars, but driving illegally.
Acquiring cars.
Yeah.
Even practice at Bloods. We sometime. No, I shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
Some people might hear, but just
Yeah.
going to get some Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
Allegedly, we may have illegally driven there, but that's what made it fun, though. you
I know.
It's like we're not supposed to be driving right now. And then he had that huge freaking Magnum PI phone or whatever. That
And the
like
funny
this
thing
big.
was,
he was the first guy to have a car phone that I.
the funny thing was, like, Dean wasn't even mad that we stole his van. He was just like, I don't give a shit. You don't have a license. You should have just told me.
Yeah.
You should have just asked. I would have let you go. Corey has a license. I don't give a shit.
Parents always say that.
Do you
but
know,
don't
I used to
believe it.
drive him home from the bar when I was like 12. I've been driving since I was 12. Off the record.
Allegedly, off the record.
What
Yeah.
bar? Like the Sportsman?
The one right up in Coon Rapids by the clay hole where he was.
Yeah, the old Sportsman bar.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's been. they
And I got
bulldozed that
so
20
nervous
years
because
ago.
I'd come up Robinson towards Mike's house, and it's all curvy, and cop drives by, and I'm panicking. Dad, I'm never gonna get my license. Oh, he's gonna pull me over.
I could barely see over the steering wheel.
Shut up! Just relax. Knock it off.
It's like it's better than me getting pulled over drunk.
And I can see a 12-year-old Al with the square glasses.
Oh, I was very scared. Yeah.
Oh. Did you have to drive by the police station to pick him up
Yeah.
by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
well, you take that
Across
road
the
across.
street.
Yeah.
The old cop shop was right across the street from the mall.
Do you remember public access and trying to get like?
Oh yeah,
We never did a Sanctus thing on there. We should have maybe.
Did you guys ever go on My
Or wait,
Town?
we did. We did. My town.
My town.
We did My
You,
Town.
you remember
That's
mine,
how we
South
met.
Minneapolis.
That's how we met.
Right.
Mike Johnson and Scotty G was on their public
Oh, really?
access show.
Yeah.
Because this
Brutus
is
Mike
my
Yes.
town.
Yeah.
I still have video of
Because
that.
the Brutus song was the theme song to the show.
Oh, okay.
And we played Mental Combat like 700 times in a row.
And we were on with God's favorite band.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys. Those guys got signed to Twin Tone.
They're like
if I'm
proto.
not mistaken.
Yeah, that seems like
grunge,
one of the
I don't
bands.
know.
Somebody in the band eventually got into the Jayhawks or something. It just seems like that circle.
I think that Lori
I think-
Barberos from Babes in Toyland had her Spanish Fly record label, and I think that she put God's favorite band on there. I'm not.
I'm pretty
I
sure
might
the
be
lead singer
mistaken.
was like Dave Printer's cousin or something,
Probably.
right? Has to be something like.
And then we're these metalheads.
like Bo Bice
It's
from the.
6 Degrees of
Cousin
Soul
Eric.
Asylum in Minneapolis usually,
I like that.
or 6 Degrees of the Replacements. Oh, this is Tommy Stinson's like third cousin twice removed.
Do you ever question?
know.
Do you ever question like your memory? Like the other day, I brought up to these guys a song we used to play, and nobody
Yeah.
else in the band remembered it.
I didn't remember it at all.
Isn't that weird? How that happens?
And
I'm
then
like,
Mike, you like played a little bit of it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it sounds really
You spent your
cool.
life drug free.
Mike's like, yeah, you wrote that. I'm like,
Mike?
I did. It
Yeah, I was
sounds
like-
pretty cool.
yeah, I
I
was
have
like,
those
that's
pockets.
Mike lived most of his life like a monk. So
oh, but it's weird to have this. The song was stuck in my head for a whole week, and I'm like, these guys are gonna freak
and
out.
what was it called again?
See How You Are, and you named it because of Chessie.
I remember that.
There you go.
It sounded
you said
cool.
the title, and I remember the title, but I was like, couldn't remember a single riff.
I just remember because we played it live at least 3 times because it ends with this.
Was it like "See How You Are"? Like
There's
with like a
3
groove.
There's the song
Yeah.
totally changes grooves for the chorus. That's how I remembered that part. But then at the end it goes. Remember Chris would hit his China?
Was this the?
No, that's something more.
Damn it!
And then you start to wonder if you're living a Mandela effect. Like maybe that never existed. Only in
Why did we never keep that song? That's what I want to know. Like, when did we decide this kind of?
It was towards the
wanna
tail
play
end
this.
where we just let a lot of things kind of go. But I don't know. That was a weird time because I remember just how weird it was.
And
to
why are
play.
you guys writing songs about my ex-girlfriend?
Not only that, but just
Why didn't I freak out at the time?
remember I was working at Food and Fuel, and you guys called me. And you're like, we just wrote a song, and I was kind of pissed because I'm like, I'm not even there. You guys wrote Habit without me, and
Whoa!
I was like, listen. And he put the phone down and played it. I was like, that's good. Congratulations. But I love the song. I was just pissed. But yeah, it was weird times. Just
And you were working at Food and Fuel?
yeah, because I felt trapped because I couldn't go to practice, and you guys.
I'm
had to
sure I
practice.
wasn't doing it spiteful.
No, you weren't, because you guys are excited because you wrote it, you know. But like, damn it! But it all turned out. I mean, it didn't, but it did. I mean, it made the album. It was a good song. So
Did you at least bring a guitar with you to Food and Fuel?
now I brought my Grip Master. I was like, at least I can
Is
Is
work
that the
out
thing
my
with the little
fingers.
springs?
Yeah.
So you're doing it in your pocket. People are like, what the hell are you doing?
Mike was like the movie Clerks.
Yeah,
He lived
doing
it.
Yep.
Weirdos would come in.
Not even supposed to be here today.
The best part is that it was so bad that I envied the newspaper delivery guy who would come in at 2 a.m.
Right?
or
And
whatever.
that's when you started delivering papers.
Yeah, I'm
like,
like,
that guy has it better than me.
Like, how much do you make? He didn't tell me it's every single night, and you want to blow your brains out because you're all by yourself, just driving around with a bunch of newspapers. I'd listen to Tori Amos. Oh, so depressing.
I knew people that do that would have huge paper routes
You can make some money if you
because,
do
like,
that.
yeah, man, I just go work like a couple hours in the morning every day and deliver 500 papers, and then
But it's every night.
the rest of my day is free.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I can
seems
do
good on
whatever I want.
paper. It seems good on paper until like Saturday night. And you got to deliver the Sundays, which is kind of a bummer. But you remember? You
I
used
did
to-
it. I did
yeah.
it, man. My
We used
dad
to help you.
Oh,
My
yeah.
dad ran a paper depot, and I had a small route that was across the street. It was my first job. I'd bring my brother. If these guys were sleeping over for a slumber
Yep.
party, they would
I
come
remember at
as
least
well.
twice, right? That we helped.
Oh
them?
yeah. Yeah.
Remember these guys getting into my mom and dad's liquor cabinet? Like, oh, you got some old cream de mint up here.
That was our move. We'd
Some old
actually
Johnny Walker.
Tony used to hide wild turkey in the basement, and Al and I were so lame. We just go down and take little capfuls and like giggle. It was weird.
Didn't you ever see like us and say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't drink?
Oh, absolutely not. I was like, that's exactly what I want to do.
We worshipped you guys and the regime, and we just had really.
God.
Well, you know, when you guys would have SNAFU practice, that was it. The keg would be down in the basement, and there's pictures of me floating all around with me and Blem down there.
You guys maintained a keg at band practice?
Oh yeah, it was
there
always a keg. for
well,
a
there
band
was all
practice.
kinds of beer. I don't know if there was always a keg, but there was sometimes kegs.
When I go back to '97, I
70s.
want to write that one kind of off the book. You know, it's just
That was a rough time.
Well, that was like,
Some
was that
dark
pre
days.
Debbie?
yeah, that was yeah. '97 was rough.
I'm trying to remember
was-
97.
that was-
I-
Well, it was me being 21.
Scott, when did you quit
And-
drinking?
It was Kentucky Derby weekend.
Like
Yeah. I think it was.
10 years ago or something?
It'd be 19 years ago.
Damn.
19 years ago?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And so that would have been 2002.
So how do you remember anything before that?
I don't.
How do you remember any of these stories?
I remember wrestling
Bits
stuff, and I
and
remember
pieces.
shows
Isn't it
stuff.
bits and pieces?
Small bits and
Like
pieces.
for me-
Like you can remember a joke that somebody told you, or
Right.
you remember a certain part of a party. You know, and it's like, hey, remember being at that party? And it's like, yeah, I remember. I went into the bathroom and I dropped my wallet and it was sticky when I picked it up. But I don't remember the fact that there was a gang war that happened.
Yeah, right.
It always seems like we had so many things happen over and over and over again. Like how many times we play Ryan's. It's hard to remember every gig.
Oh my god!
But then there are those
so many Monday nights.
certain times where something
Tuesdays.
crazy happens.
Tuesdays, whatever.
Like a regime brings up strippers or something, and all of a sudden your brain goes, "Oh yeah, that was that particular gig."
When you flash that clip
Which one?
of like the worst Ryan's gig
Oh,
ever,
where
my
my
That was
mom-
great.
some old ladies in the back going, "Play Aerosmith."
Yeah.
Hey, all right, somebody's still here. This is the only thing. Do you people know what a mosh pit is? I don't think you do.
Like we're gonna play maybe some Nugent later, but just stick around.
Placate the audience. But I think even my mom was like, "Yeah, this isn't very good." She was
Oh,
always
Michael.
really positive,
Boy, this bar is bad.
Well, gentlemen, how do you feel getting booed off the stage?
Huh? I think it adds to my super ego that I already have.
I think
It makes you feel like a real winner. All we want to hear is nobody likes you. No way. We're playing pretty good, actually. It's just the damn crowd.
Yeah, I know. You guys sound really good.
Yeah, it was.
towards the end.
Was Tony going, "You guys really fucking ate shit," or whatever. He said something to us,
And he was never like that. He was
Oh,
always really
man.
positive, so that was a bad show.
God, till like '87, all that stuff was all cover bands. You couldn't play any originals
Right.
in that stuff. So when we started playing at like Ryan's, and there's a bar called the Pain Reliever, which one
Yeah.
side was the
Yeah.
bar and the other side
We went
was
there
the
one
strip
time.
club.
Yeah, we
I
played
remember
there.
that, yeah.
And stuff like that. We'd have to play on Monday nights, and you'd have to have like 3 bands, and you'd play speed metal Mondays for like you, the sound guy, and your girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's like there was nobody ever at these shows, because it's Monday nights. But then you'd go and play like at the entry, or something like that, and it would be 300 people packed in there. It's like very different time then, but it was crossing over. It was that was the gateway time. 87, 88 was the gateway time of original music being able to play.
right? Because that's when the regime started. Dude had like pink fur boots that like.
Oh yeah,
came up
Regime
to
was
the
a
knee or
total
something.
cover band, and they
Yeah.
started incorporating in there.
I didn't know
original
that.
music.
So they're
Yeah.
kind of glammy at first.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
He
yeah.
told that he was the first person to tell the stories of. Yeah, dude. We did like Judas Priest covers. I had like pink fur.
So kind of like a
boots on
Pantera
20s.
thing. That's
Yeah.
God
bizarre.
didn't
Right, I
care.
was gonna
He
say
just
that.
told he was the best because he was just
Tell the
he was
legends.
totally real.
Yeah.
Other than
My
the fact
first time playing, I had to step around the puke stain on Ryan's stage from the night before when he played. So yeah.
Remember they used to cover the monitors with plastic because of that?
Yeah.
We'd be like, we can't hear ourselves. Tough shit.
But was he really a garbage man, or was that just a bit?
I understand that he was. And that's the story I heard.
He would wear.
We didn't have the internet to check this stuff back then. You had to go
No,
off
no.
of face
That's
value.
what I'm saying. Like
It was easy to lie back then.
I thought it was. I started thinking back. I'm like, this could have just been like a cover story because he wore a uniform shirt, like a Dickies uniform shirt with the sleeves cut off.
Sometimes.
And I
yeah.
was like, is this just a story that he's a garbage man and that's why he shows
I just
up
got
late?
fired today. Now I'm playing a gig.
Yeah, he was man of the people. I mean, that's and that people still respect him to this day for that. They,
They're legends, man. They always will be. In
They were the St. Paul.
yeah.
Slave Raider was Minneapolis. And
I thought St. Cloud too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Slave
they kind
Raider?
of covered a lot of territory. But yeah, they were the.
Red carpet.
Dude, imagine them going to central Minnesota and just blowing the roof off of some small bars because I'm sure up there all they had was
Oh my
crappy
God!
cover
We used to
bands.
go to like these obscure Okay, so like ballrooms, in the 50s were huge, where people would
Bellray
go
Ballroom in
dancing and
Moundsview.
stuff.
Everybody talked about those back
In the
then.
80s, they were they didn't know what to do with them. So Slave Raider would go and play, and they would pack this place, but they'd have like 3 employees working there. And
so
we used to
they
go to
could-
Waconia, and we'd go see them out of Waconia.
Wow.
And it was, you would bring your own mix, or you'd bring your own alcohol,
Yeah.
and you would
Buy the
mix.
Yep.
But
It was
you know, we're
$1 for a
19.
3/4 filled soda.
Yeah.
How do you know this, Corey?
Because when I bowled with my uncles in the late 90s at the old New Brighton bowling alley, that's what it was. They sold like 3-2 beer in little plastic cups, but every guy had a bottle of booze in their bowling bag, and for $1, they'd sell you 3/4 filled plastic cup of soda, Coke, 7-Up, because these guys
Whatever
all
you're
drank
mixing your
7
drink
and
with.
7s. So they're all down on the lanes
Wow.
mixing their own drinks because it was a specific kind of liquor license. It was a
Yep.
BYOB
That's
liquor license.
interesting.
And so
Yeah.
then if you go out to Waconia, you got everybody. This is when the grandfathered age of drinking went from 19 to 21. There was that pack of 19-year-olds, which I was in, that were pretty much the youngest kids for the longest time. We didn't have any money, so we'd just go to the liquor store and we'd buy the cheapest bottle of alcohol and just drink the whole thing. And so that Slave Raider show was just
Sure.
2,000 crazy drunk kids, all with too much Aquanet in their hair.
That sounds awesome. So you just okay. So if were you grandfathered in a
Yep.
way, so when it changed to 21, you could still drink.
If you were born on September 1st, 1967, you were able to drink.
Wow.
If you were born on September 2nd, you were not.
That's insane.
Because this was like, what, 86?
That's, yeah.
So this was the
86.
19 thing, and then when they bumped it up to 21.
Yeah, so if you were already 19 when the law changed, which was September 1st, 1987 or whatever it was.
Right.
That was, if you were already 19, you got to drink. So literally, your birthday could be the next day, and you got to wait 2 years.
It could be 1 second after midnight. Right?
Yes,
Oh, that'd
as
be-
long as your date on your birth certificate
I'd
or
be
on your ID.
erasing
Yeah,
I'd
how
be
many
saying,
people
"Hey,
were messing
Mom, couldn't
those
you
up?
push it a little harder?
Little whiteout.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
that
one.
was how it was, and so the bars were the thing to do. We didn't have the internet. You know what I mean? We didn't have things like that. You went to the bars to go meet people. You go to Lake Nokomis or whatever during the daytime, and then you'd find out where the parties were, and you go to the bars, which were like Mr. Nibs and Starks and
Starks.
Iron Horse and all that stuff. You know, and then you'd go out, and that was all the cover stuff except for Slave Raider and Regime.
What about the one that was behind the Mirage that just burned down during the riots?
Norma Jeans.
No.
Oh, Hexagon.
Hexagon.
Yeah.
Oh, the hex burned
That
down.
was
Did you guys play that? Was that a spot back in the day, or was that just an old man
No,
bar?
That was like a Harley bar.
Because that turned into a music bar, like
It
Oh,
did.
really?
Yeah.
after the Mirage closed.
Oh, okay.
They were kind of like, I think they kind of went, hey, there's a gap in the market.
You talking about the hexagon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That and the Red Sea. Remember that?
God.
They kind of. I think we had to move over to there because I was asking these guys like, where do we play after the Mirage and all that stuff was done with?
I don't know what's more depressing, playing the Red Sea or playing that place on the east side that like killed our band. That killed.
I think
And
Al knows the
play.
name. Al knows the name of it. What is it?
Foul play.
Foul
No.
play. Wasn't it that?
No,
That was when you
no.
had your conniption.
That's where Scott.
It was
me?
foul play.
That's
You're
where-
right.
Me had a conniption.
No,
No,
you had a enthusiastic attitude.
Wait,
in
wait.
a negative way.
What
after
happened?
we were done with foul
Was
play.
I there? Was I there?
Oh yeah.
Is that the
we
east side
were
of
all-
St. Paul?
We were all playing there. We were playing there together.
Because we were doing
No,
like
that was Dinky Town, right? That's
Yes.
U of M.
Yeah, U of M.
Oh,
That was the,
shit, I remember that.
Why was Al
That was
mad?
the Zima night.
Was the oh wait? That's the place that became the library.
I kept the big sign that said
Scott.
Zima for many years
That's
in my
in
bedroom.
the basement, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it was called Foul Play in the 90s, but when I played there in the early 2000s, it became the library.
Yeah.
And I played there with Hook Echo a bunch of times.
You know what? I don't remember. Why did I hate that show so much?
Wait, was
There
that
I do remember it.
nobody there.
Al? Was that
that-
Sister Morphine?
Yes, we played with Sister.
Oh my
That's when
God,
the
it's
lead
coming
singer
back.
from Sister Morphine was like, I don't know, man, but I'm getting fucked up on this Zima. it was sponsored by Zima.
Yes, I
so-
remember that. You got a 12-pack of Zima when you played there, and you would drink it. And when you drank as fast as we did, you get the hangover before you got the buzz.
No. Remember what they said?
Pure
Zimas wouldn't show up on a breathalyzer. That was
Oh,
that was what they said.
Did they eventually
If
become
you ever
White
got
Claw?
some bad advice in your life, what do you think of that one?
Essentially,
It's kind of the same thing. Do you remember if that place had like a long stairway to get
Yes.
down, and we had to
Yes.
bring Corey's fucking bed of a bass amp down that thing? We're like, can we just slide it? Could you just put some wood down? We
Did
could
you have the
slide it.
810?
No, I had like a 2x15 later on.
God.
I had an 18, I had a 15, I had a And then at one point, then I had the 15 and the 4x10. I wish when I found that 8x10 years later, like in my 20s, I finally found my dream tone. Like, why didn't I do this, 20 years ago?
I don't think it would have fit in the van.
It would have fit.
Whoa! Damn it, Rowdy Piper.
Weekend is happening. We
Who was it?
Kirshner versus Roddy Piper.
Oh, who came out on top?
I think Piper was the guy that was the
instigator.
But remember, it was the east side.
How good my reaction is.
That was-
It's like, watch it burn.
So
I knocked a candle over the other day. I'm just used to it.
okay, so it wasn't foul play, but this was Scott. This was the east side of St. Paul.
Oh,
Your dad booked it.
peppercorns.
Oh, shit! I have pictures of that place.
That was it was right before we released our album. It was when Mike was like totally fed up.
Yep.
We wanted to like release the album. We wanted to write a bunch of like, okay, we're finally gonna go in this new direction, shed the old songs, let all the Sanctus stuff go, and let's embrace the late '90s or whatever. And that show, it was like same thing. Sound guy, Dean, us, and some random east side fucking barflies who gave two shits or whatever.
Damn.
And we're just like, what are we doing? Like, why are we?
We stopped playing. We went out in the parking lot and we were like arguing with each other.
Seriously? I don't
Mike,
remember
your
that.
organ's too fucking loud.
Yeah.
Why you played a
Mike,
fucking
you didn't want to
organ?
play. You didn't want to play. You're like, I don't even want to do another set.
Oh,
You're like, why don't you guys just
Oh, is
fucking
that when
play
you guys were
without
doing
me?
multiple sets?
Yes, we
Dude,
were.
my
did?
brain just
that's
lit up.
Killer
Yep.
to an original.
I don't
Yep.
even remember
no.
that.
Yep.
We started opening for ourselves, but that was before
Well,
That was before
at the
that.
Pain Reliever. So
Right.
we played at the Pain Reliever
as a different
on the
band.
bar side, and we opened for ourselves as a cover band, and then we headlined with our originals.
Which was fun. I wore like a baseball cap and tucked my hair up so it didn't look like we
And
had long
Chris
hair.
Blood's dad was there. Chris Blood's dad was there,
Ready
and
for
all we
war.
had were hats and sunglasses on. Same instruments.
Was that Joey?
He
Joey
thought it was
Jr.?
a different
Shabba-Doo?
band.
Yeah, he did know. We
What?
played.
Chris Blood's dad, like
Yeah.
we're playing the same guitars. We're saying we're the
Yeah,
same.
but
Everybody, people were like, I really like that first band.
Like,
I'm
it's
Second band's not so great.
yeah.
But we played.
Well, that
frickin-
was us trying.
Yeah, we just put our long hair up and some baseball hats and put on like
We played the Stairway to
Sunglasses.
Heaven and shit.
Yeah. So what was the story with the coup de grace then? I mean, I heard they opened for Cheap Trick, did some tour dates, and then they kind of
Well, they
got some good
They got
shows.
signed to Red Decibel with Jake Wisely, and that was through Twin Tone.
Yeah.
And he signed 3 bands, which was Rapscallion out of Milwaukee, and they were awesome. They were kind of a Jane's Addiction kind of sounding band, a little heavier though. And then Coup de Grace, which was a very unique sounding band, and then
Power Man.
Drop Hammer.
Oh,
No,
Drop Hammer, yeah.
Power Man was actually signed to Warner Brothers.
Yes,
they were big time.
They were big time.
Interesting story about those guys because they got to be in the David Lynch movie.
Yep.
David
that riff.
Lynch
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
picked them because that was a Warner Brothers movie, and some Warner's guy was like hanging out with Lynch, like, oh, I'm doing this, pushing this band. Or like, let me hear it, and he heard it and went, oh, these guys have to be in my movie.
Yeah.
And that's
No,
like
it
the
was
biggest
the
thing.
National Treasure dude, I thought. What was that? What's that guy's name? The main
Nicolas
character.
Cage?
Nicolas Cage.
No, I read the whole.
He was in with Nicolas because he's in a scene with Nicolas Cage. Joel DeBay is where he hands him the microphone.
Well, yeah,
like, in
no,
an aggressive
they're
manner.
in it because they're playing. The song is the main theme to that whole movie.
Yeah.
So, but it was somebody from Warner's because it was right when the album was coming out, and David Lynch heard it, and David Lynch is a music nerd. Now, here's the thing. People don't know this. He's like a wannabe musician. So he's one of these people who writes, like when he writes the script, he writes to music. It's almost like dude that did Goodfellas. Scorsese writes to, like, they write to music. Like they listen to music while they're. So Lynch is the same way, and heard Power Man went, oh, this is weird. This is like, I can use this. So they kind of plucked them, put them in the movie, and they were trying to use it as like promo for the record, essentially, because hey, we're in a mainstream movie. Yeah, he says to Laura Dern, hey, let's go down to the whatever and see Power Man.
Yeah.
So they're playing and they're like dancing. But yeah, mid-song they stop and he grabs the mic and starts
just
singing
watched that,
Elvis, and you're
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
This is bizarre.
It does seem,
AF,
doesn't
you
it seem
know?
out of place though?
It's completely out of
we're
place,
gonna
but-
dance, and all of a sudden they're playing a blast beat.
But that's David Lynch. It's like he's just a weird dude.
Forgot
So
the name of
that was
song.
the thing that was supposed to like
What was the name of the movie? Do you remember?
Wild at Heart.
Wild
Yes,
at Heart.
I do
yes.
remember that now.
Laura Dern at her finest.
That's a great segue for something that I brought.
All right.
So Power Mad was the only band that had played the main stage, except for Coup de Grace. Coup de Grace played with Power Mad.
Nice Dreams. It's called.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Nice Dreams.
Yeah, I
They,
had to look
well,
it
they
up.
did the Nightmare on Elm Street 3
Wait,
song too. I think.
they did?
Oh, really?
I think so.
That's the best one. That's the best Nightmare on Elm Street, in my opinion.
You can always tell by
I
Dubé's.
thought that was Dokken, the Dream
Screw it.
Warriors.
Dream Warriors, I think, was 2.
No, that's 3.
It is 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Trust,
We
trust
only
me.
had a way to
It's
find
sitting
out.
right there. Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
All right, well, let's find out.
All right.
I'll
Yeah,
It's called Dream Warriors,
The main
the movie.
riff that would build tension in that movie, Scott, every time something got like tense, you'd hear the dun 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 dun
That's
dun.
right.
That's right.
And they kept playing
Didn't we
it
used
every
to play
time.
that, Al, at
Yes,
practice?
Yes. We also did Nice Dreams, too, if you remember. I love that guitar. riff.
It's a
Yeah.
great warm up.
Dude, I finally saw him. I never saw him back in the day,
Yeah.
and they played the Triple Rock, and Todd Howe
Like a
came
reunion.
back.
I saw a video of that.
Yeah, Todd Howe came back to promote Foggy Geezer beer.
Well, those
from
guys were really cool, too. From
Dude, the bass player lives in Anoka, like 4 blocks from me.
Wow.
I used to run into him everywhere, but he's not on social media, so I couldn't like.
So wait, Power
Look 'em
Mad
up.
and Coup de Grace used to tour together?
They used to do shows at the main room.
Okay.
Okay, like the
huge.
main room was reserved for enormous acts because just for them to open it up, you know what I mean? So you'd have, and there was a couple locals that got in every once in a while. Power Mad was one of them, and then they got signed by Warner Brothers. But they came up, they were out of Bloomington, just like my band was, and they came up, and by 87, they were already signed to Warner Brothers. They put out Absolute Power and stuff like that. Well, after they had gone off and gone on their way and everything like that, Earl Root and Jim Maherl and Jimmy Odegaard decided, hey, we want to get into the main room. We're tired of playing in the entry. We're tired of playing at Ryan's on Monday nights and stuff like that. Let's put together a show that's going to kick butt. So they put together all these bands. It was Coup de Grace, Disturbed, Soylent Green, Insidious Prophets, and then I was in Animosity.
Nice.
And so this was the first Metal Massacre.
Can I take a picture of that?
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
this
That's
was
cool.
the first of the
Was
Metal
that a
Massacres.
Decker show?
No, Decker was just an audience member at that point in time. It was all Earl Root. It was all Earl Root. So he put all these bands together to put together this show.
R.I.P. Earl Root.
Yep.
And Sean
Passed
Decker.
away, what,
2000.
15 years ago? Almost?
So on the, so they finally got to play on the main stage. They've been playing every basement bar forever and stuff like that. And we did some shows with them in the entry, and we got like almost 300 people.
What is this from? What am I holding?
So at the last song of the show of Disturbed, Earl drops his guitar and it breaks in half. That's it right there.
Nice.
Can't
That
believe
is
you have
that is the guitar that
You
started
grabbed
the
it.
Metal Massacre. No, I bought it from him at his garage sale for $10 when he was selling the record store. He had a garage when he was dealing with all the cancer stuff.
Okay.
And
That's
so
awesome.
It's
yeah,
priceless,
so that's
and
the
you got it
actual
for
guitar that
$10.
played at First Avenue for the very first Metal Massacre.
And you guys opened.
we
so you're
started the
officially-
show. First people out there for the Metal Massacre.
And
Oh
his
my
band
God.
was Soylent Green?
I was in No, his band was Disturbed.
Disturbed. Okay.
Not the same Disturbed, right? As
No.
Because we played with his Disturbed
Yep.
in that entry. I
Yep,
think our
and
first
that was a
entry show
metal-
was Disturbed, Sick,
Yep. Sick. No, Sick was. Oh yeah,
that
that's
black
right.
bass player dude that had that
Blake.
huge birthmark on his face. It was that
Blake,
dude was an
and then
insane
there
bass
was
player.
Mike Bahowden from Disturbed,
Yep.
and Blake was from Disturbed too. And so I think all of Sick was part of it, and then there was some shred fit mixed in with that. So
Oh man! So how many times did we play the entry for Metal Massacre? Once, and then we went the next. Wow, we're spoiled.
I know.
But we opened right the first one. We were the first band of the entry.
Yes, we were the very first band of the entry.
That's when Corey's amp started
I
on
was
fire.
15.
Remember that? His cable melted.
In my head, I was using like an instrument cable as a speaker cable, and it melted
At the worst possible moment.
like in the middle of the show.
Chris had to do a
You were
drum
playing too
solo.
fast.
Dude, we played so fast. It was.
We were all adrenaline and like.
Yeah, but you know what though? I thought we covered it all up for something that was such a crisis. I mean, it was like what was going on with us and behind the scenes was horrible.
Yeah.
But what the audience saw, they were eating it up. It was almost like fueling
Corey,
the...
what's going on? I don't know. I'm like, vamp, kill, like
Blood, do a solo.
I think we were at the point of, we're at the 7th Street entry. Let's just play without a bass if we have to.
We were ready to push
We're going to do
through.
this show.
Yep.
I
Come
think
hell
they
or
might
high
have
water.
just put me right in with a DI into the
Probably.
mains or something.
I think they were talking about
Something
that.
happened.
Too.
probably didn't
Or
even
we
know that
grabbed
was
someone
possible.
else's head and went and
Yeah, there was always
we
that
got
switch
it
around in
going,
the entry.
Or they just gave you
Good
another
thing we were all
cable.
skinny.
You know what's weird though, Al? Remember, it was the first time people were moshing for us, I think.
Yeah.
it was.
And they
guys are wailing.
Yeah, and that guy kept doing his circular head spin, and then I have video of it where people start moshing and they fall into each other, and we're just in heaven. 'Cause
Only if we could watch this, Mike.
I should have set it up. But that usually takes up too much
We
time.
only had a way.
We have to go eat. I have the cameras like timed, so
See, that was the thing. It sometimes it wouldn't matter the venue; it was the crowd, you know, and something like that. They were all there for.
That's probably why I got
Good
so
time.
depressed towards the end, because we went from playing First Ave Mirage and all of a sudden we're at Peppercorns. And when you said that, my brain remembered it. I think I covered it up all these years that I just kind
It
of.
was kind of a nice.
It's like
restaurant,
walking
right?
off on
It
your
was-
job, on the job, just walking off.
Yes.
That's kind of what I felt like.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a dive,
No, it was. It had changed owners like 300 times.
but it looked like it had a
And
fresh paint job.
the only time I
know?
had been in there when I saw Quiet Riot play in there
Holy shit! What year?
somewhere in the 90s.
Wow.
That is hilarious that you say that, because I remember playing at one of these gigs and someone had a flyer. Dude, Quiet Riot is playing at Medina or something.
They played at the Medina
or something, but it was around that time because I remember like Quiet ooh, like
How the mighty have fallen.
how the mighty have fallen, like Quiet Riot.
When they played at Peppercorns, I think they really fell. That was at the lowest time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That Peppercorns, when you say that,
That's why
that
they get to have
Peppercorns
a
for
behind the
me,
music.
it was kind of like the, I just don't want to play music anymore. I didn't play there, but I just don't
It
want
killed
to
my
do it anymore.
soul or something.
It killed my desire to go
Right.
out because it was no longer fun. It was no longer exciting. You weren't running into the people that you wanted to run into.
Right.
You were running into the people that you wanted to avoid.
And I think we had kind of not done a lot of live shows while we were making an album. Yeah.
No, we didn't. We
So-
took a year, like a
So
year
we put a
off
lot
from
of
playing.
pressure on ourselves for the shows we had following that, and I think that was a big part of it too.
Yeah, I think you guys should have went out on the tour. You should have opened up for somebody on a tour situation and just gone down.
Yeah,
that
but
road.
Gary D. Haven can't hook that up.
Well,
Yeah,
we
you
hooked
guys
our
had
we
so
hit-
many friends.
We
in the
hitched our
business,
wagon
too.
to like a lame horse.
I'll be honest with you. At that point too, I got kind of scared of that.
yeah, I remember you
Like
saying
I wanted that the whole time, and then when it came to it, I was like,
The tour?
the thought of it kind of catches up with you.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in a U-Haul truck going to California all of a sudden. I was like, I don't know.
Well, good thing we never found out.
if we would have been able to do that,
You were spared the agony of going on the road with me.
but
farting
imagine
the whole
earlier
time.
if we would have hit that when we were like 17ish.
Yes.
we would have like.
I would
wanted
have
to
taken it.
conquer the
I would have
world at
taken
that
it.
time.
I would have
we
taken
We
it.
had the energy, we had the excitement. We weren't all trying to get real job stuff too much at that time. Everything was
Yeah, they could
in
have
the
signed us to
background.
one of them really bad record deals, like 15 albums. You
Right.
make like
Right.
a penny on each
Yeah.
one.
Still be on it
Yes.
today.
We'd still be living at our mom's house on the third album going, God,
Going to signings.
when's it gonna happen?
Well, we still haven't paid Chris's mom back for the T-shirts, so there's no way we would have paid back a record company. Do we still have any of those? I want to send one
What's
to
that?
Sanctus
our
t-shirts?
biggest fan, Nicholas,
I-
overseas.
I got like a couple of them,
Okay,
but they're not mine.
they're
I found
Mary
mine with my
Bloods.
swaps on it with the MDC.
those
one
were.
point-
Yeah, I remember those.
I have like one of the original ones we did, Mike, way a long time ago. That
Like a
was
prototype type shirt.
No, it was one that we silk screened at like Northtown.
I remember that.
The
Did we-
Sanctus
Ooh.
shirt.
I thought we silk screened it at school.
It needs to go in the archive.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have that. I keep that one.
Okay, I just have to bring up one more weird, like out of the way gig and see what you guys' thoughts are on it. Appleton, Wisconsin.
With
Oh
Jay
my
Kruger.
God.
Remember, it was supposed to be a festival outside in the summer, and then it rained, so they moved us indoors to
To an
like,
airplane hangar.
yeah.
that's
Well,
right.
with Jay Kruger's band, right? We did that one time.
I don't know.
We stayed at a hotel with
I thought
Jay
that was
Kruger,
fun.
with the Free Press or whatever.
Yeah,
the
you thought it was
Peacemaker.
fun because
Fargo.
you were
Oh,
hanging out with
that was
everybody,
Fargo.
partying.
I was the party guy in the band.
I was going in
I had a
for
great
hernia
time.
surgery the next week.
That was so we went with you guys.
feeding the
Yeah,
beers.
it was one of the ones that we had Sister Morphine there. We had, but I think they were under prey at that point in time.
This is Appleton?
Appleton, Wisconsin. Yes.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be this huge thing, and we get there,
And it's rained out.
Sean doesn't bring his drums because he doesn't want to, and so he's thinking that Christopher's going to let him use his drums. Well, Christopher's not there yet, and they're like, "You guys need to go on." So we pieced together a couple of things, and I'm like in major pain, and I'm just trying to make it through, and we just get through this at like 3:00 in the afternoon. It was like 110 degrees in that place.
Yeah.
It was so hot. When you guys went on,
It was a
it
pole
wasn't
barn.
bad. Oh yeah, it was.
It was a pole barn, but it was a dirt floor.
Do you remember
So
this?
I remember walking through like
Bits and pieces.
dirt floor all day, going, "What the hell?"
How come I don't remember the show?
It was just a day trip. We did not stay overnight. We went. We did the
You
thing.
didn't stay overnight?
It was
Yeah,
a
we
during the
did.
day.
Yeah,
and
we did. We
left.
got a hotel.
Because I remember that,
I did.
like Sean.
I don't
Pizza
know. I
them-
was staying in some hotel.
I woke up. I
We
woke
were in
up.
somebody's
guys
basement.
left me
We
out
thought
there.
it was a
Date-
hotel.
You were hanging out with Lee and them.
Yeah, probably.
Was it? But I swear to God, it was a daytime gig where we played at like 3 in the afternoon.
I don't know, maybe
That
those.
was 3. You guys got to play at 6.
You guys may have gone home, and I probably
Dean
stayed.
negotiated a little bit better than I did.
That's something I want to bring
could
up.
be.
Al, I didn't realize this, but I should call Dean one of these days. And
We need to
thank him.
bring him on one.
Yeah.
Well, because I didn't know all the behind the scenes stuff Dean was responsible for, getting us better time slots and all that stuff. I thought we just lucked into everything, and Dean was just
oh
the guy
no,
that brought
Dean
the gear.
was okay. A lot of people didn't argue with Dean. Dean was very.
He greased
very,
a lot of palms.
Dean, no, he knew your guys' worth, and he wasn't going to stand for anything less. As far as when it came to me and when it came to everybody else that I know of him,
Did he rough you
talking-
up?
Well,
He
know,
put you up
not that I
against a
didn't.
wall.
I paid for. I did pay for that, but
I was gonna say, is that
No,
why you
he,
needed surgery?
He Dean would go in and he would work with people, but he always really was very protective of you guys. So yeah, he made sure that there was no funny business and you guys were getting the best that you could get.
For sure.
That's crazy. I didn't know any of that was going on behind the scenes. It's kind of like being spoiled. It's like someone else is taking care of all that stuff.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of work for you guys. He was really. I mean, because he'd go work with Jaeger. I mean, because just to ask you, do you remember very many really crummy spots that you played in gigs?
Yeah, I know.
Or were you usually around that 10:30, 11 time slot? I mean, do you remember a lot of 8?
Well,
9
like I
o'clock
said,
shows?
middle slot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Mike asked me, Mike had a picture of that
before
flyer.
people
and said,
go home.
Like,
Yeah.
were we headlining this? And I go, well, yeah, but no, we would take like right before the headline slot when everyone's primed and ready to go, and the headliner would come out, and everyone was like, "Oh, no, I'm tired," because we killed everybody, like the high energy. Like after that, this is where you hear comedians talk about. Well, I don't want to go after Bill Burr or whatever. Like that dude's a killer. Like I got to come out and like the crowd is spent. They've done their thing.
I mean, you're doing a show that's starting at 4 o'clock, and you guys are playing at like 10.
Yeah, we did have a few.
Perfect. You guys always got the perfect slot. I mean, I would always try for that too. You know what I mean? Give you the best slot that you possibly could because you were the showcase band. You were the talented up and comers.
Isn't that weird? I had no clue. I just thought we were always lucky or something.
You had me in your corner. You had Dean in your corner.
A guy keeps.
Your dad was around a lot.
Well,
doing-
my mom and dad would come.
Yeah, I think that
but-
they were talking you guys up too, and Dave Yeager too.
Here's the thing, though. This is what a lot of it has to do with. Al's dad's a union guy. You don't fuck with the union.
I don't ask.
We
too
don't
many
want to
questions.
call in the sanitation crew. You know what I mean?
What about Chris's dad who works in cement?
Oh yeah, they all know the Teamsters.
We all had parents that were supportive. Like
Yeah.
Tony came out and filmed all the shows, and it's just kind of rare, I think, to have that much dedication and force for one band.
Tony's goal was to try and get my mom's cleavage as much as he could. Like
I think
on his
everybody's
videos.
cleavage. He's like, he would look
Tony,
around.
that's my mom.
I remember one time he was like following Chessie around. I'm like, Tony, what are you doing?
Can I watch that one? I need to relive those. I need to relive those. Man.
They're in a box over there somewhere. I'm gonna go through them all. I have to buy a little high 8-disc player or whatever, cassette player. But yeah, crazy memories. I just pulled up a few things from before, and there's all these things I forgot we even played. Certain songs we did. Like, holy shit.
Weird covers or
Well,
yeah,
you know, my
strange
my
covers.
favorite moments were when we would play a show, and Scott, you guys would come out and play after us, and you do Freebird, and
in
Not
that
that
less
you
than
had
ideal
to,
slot, and
but-
Scott's going, "No, God."
Alan, come up on stage and sing Freebird with me. I
Okay.
had so much fun doing that, like
Yeah.
being part of other bands, meeting other fans. That's where
Was it the reggae version?
no, we played like it was.
Well, it goes.
But you guys would
it goes
bust
the
into the
regular to
reggae.
thrash to reggae.
We would take turns.
I
We
have
would
that
take
on tape
turns.
somewhere too. Yeah.
Scott would do one, and I'd do one.
It was like
in
our
the
We Are
verse.
the World. Except
Have you seen the $100 loop of Axl Rose going, "Give me some reggae," and they loop it like it just.
No, I haven't
It's a
seen
10-hour thing of Axl Rose going,
can't believe what's
"Give me
up
some
there.
reggae, give me some reggae."
That would bring the house down though.
That's what it was like whenever we played with SNAFU. We played with all of the bands. It was like
it did become like
there's
a
no
family.
headliner. This is all of the bands, and it brings back like that First Avenue vibe.
Well,
and
and
those
that's-
were
it all
always
stemmed
good
from this.
shows.
That's so crazy.
This is the one thing that brought that, and that's what I brought to the Mirage shows, is you can't go out just by yourself and
You
try
can't.
and make it.
You can't.
need to have
Right.
you need to have a unit of bands to play, and that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the bands that we played with. How fun was that?
I know.
You know what I mean? You got Porcelain God. Remember those guys?
I
Those
loved
guys were
Psycho Head.
awesome.
I loved it when he'd
Psycho
hang from the
Head.
rafters, and I was like,
You had all these little things,
love
and we didn't
this.
have to play 3 hours, and we didn't have to,
Yeah.
you know.
I
and-
just friended somebody on Facebook that I'm not from Porcelain God.
Sucker Punch.
Think of these names.
Sucker Punch was kind of Brutus, wasn't it?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mikey Johnson band.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, Thump and Crunch.
Oh,
Thump
I
and Cr-
forgot about
We
Thump
played
and
with
Crunch.
Thump and Crunch and Pantera
Pump and Munch.
Really?
in the entry.
Whoa.
For Cowboys from Hell tour. When
I remember. Yes, I remember this story.
Cowboys from Hell, they were coming in,
They were
but
just a
but everybody
tour
had the
band.
image of the power metal Pantera. So they're like, oh, those are a bunch of glam rockers. We don't want to play with them.
And
And,
then
I'm
they
like,
showed
come on,
But
come
they
on.
came out and they killed.
Yeah, I mean, that was where they
I
started.
bet they played that whole first record. Oh my god.
That
It was
must have been
it
insane.
Nipples just got
it
hard.
was crazy.
I
But
wish I
then-
could have been there to see it.
But that first album of theirs was half glam. You know, you listen to
The screaming
like
stuff.
I had the cassette, so like there's A side and B side. You know, and like B side was like the old glam stuff, and the A side was their more into metal. You know,
When he was still doing
Exactly.
the high Halford
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. Cemetery Gates.
you could tell there was transition right in that album itself.
Well, and then the
was-
next time that we played, we were playing with Helmet in the entry.
Oh.
And Pantera was over in the main room
That
with
would've been cool.
Prong and
What?
over 4. Yeah.
Jeez.
And so we were playing with the Melvins and Helmet, and Phil came over and
You?
yeah, and Helmet came, and Phil came
never
over,
heard
and
that.
That's a ledge, man.
Phil came over and he was watching Helmet, and he was going nuts. I mean, he had his hood up, and he's like all doing his little shaky dance thing, and just loved it. Well, after that, you know, then afterwards, because we had played with them the time before, we played with Pantera, and we had played with, and then we played with Melvin or Helmet. We're all standing around the corner by the bathroom by the entry there, and like Lori Barbaros is there, Joe DeBay from Power Man, and we're standing in the circle, and I was like, I am the coolest person in the world right
But
now.
did you hang out with freaking King Buzzo from the Melvins?
Yeah, we played
Did
with
he
those
hang
guys.
out? But were they like hanging out?
Yeah, he was really cool. He was just totally down to earth, though. He wasn't like a nut at all.
That's awesome.
Imagine
Yeah.
if you had cell phones back then. You could actually like. Have
Oh,
pictures of
I
all this
know,
stuff.
right?
Did,
Maybe it's better
Did you,
you
like?
didn't.
Did you get to drink with Dimebag and like party?
I didn't
with
get
those
to,
guys?
no. Dimebag and Vinny were really kind of off on their own. Phil was the only
Really?
guy that was connective to people. And this was when he was just an up-and-comer. He had seen our record, so he knew of us and everything. It was really super cool. But then after that, they went down to Dallas, and they hooked up with Helmet again after that show that we played with them. And Paige went on record just recently from Helmet telling the story about Phil and Dimebag and them talking together and them adapting a bunch of the Helmet sound, and that's where the Great Southern Trendkill came from.
Really?
Listen to Cowboys, and then listen to Trendkill.
You mean
and
Vulgar?
then listen to Meantime by
Oh yeah,
by Helmet, and you'll be like, oh, that all happened from that
Interesting.
time frame.
Interesting. Because they did get groovier after Cowboys.
Yep.
Slower a little bit. more of a
I think
groove.
it was the one right after that. Was that Great Southern
Vulgar
Trendkill?
Display.
No.
Great
Oh, Vulgar
Southern-
Display. Yes, Vulgar Display. So listen to
Right.
those two,
Yep.
and be like, and then try. Okay, so like listen to Cowboys, listen to Helmet Meantime, and then listen
That's
to
the bridge.
Yep, and then listen to
Vulgar.
that and say, oh, I can see where this
Interesting.
is.
But the craziest thing, really, if you think about it, those guys' trajectory, you open for them on Cowboys, they come back with Vulgar. It's insanely heavy. But you know, they followed it up with Far Beyond like
Yeah.
2 years later to like the date.
Yep.
The next album came out. Like it was so quick back. Like they get off the tour from Vulgar, they go straight in the studio and record all those songs and just back to back with like super duper heavy.
And Far Beyond Driven's great. It's just mixed kind of different, you know. I wish it was a little bit more like Vulgar as far as sonically. But I recall when that came out because I think played Chicago and we tried to drive back that same night and you were dead set on driving us home. And we drove all night, but I remember that album was being played, kept us up.
Well, see,
Dun, dun, dun. Or no, that's
I just remember
Rock. I'm trying to
and
Oh, yeah.
Slaughtered and all those really intense tunes off Far Beyond Driven.
I'm broken.
see, I
Broken,
remember that
yeah.
Far Beyond Driven because that was the Chessie days. That
5
was
Minutes
when I had
Alone.
my Camaro.
Yeah.
And I was driving around this crappy $300 Camaro that my dad bought that didn't have a heater core. So when winter comes, we have to sell it. So I drove it around all summer, and that was like, I think I even had possibly a tape deck, and like that was just on repeat. And what really reminds me of that time period is the Offspring's record came out,
Oh yeah.
and I borrowed the CD from Chessie, and I heard this song, "I'm Just a Sucker with No Self-Esteem,"
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like. I
Related.
was crushed by it because that was when she's like, I really like your guitar player, Mike. Like, is it cool if I like date him instead? And I was like,
I like how she
No,
just asked your
but-
permission.
Oh yeah.
But-
I remember that too.
I had
Girls
to
would come up and they'd be like, Mike's hair is so pretty, and I'm like, gosh.
Get that Asian freak out
yeah, it
of
was
here.
like, I had to give my consent.
Do you
or
have
something.
Mike's number? I'm like, no. You. They would have
actually did
internet. You
for
look it up
them.
on Google.
yeah.
I actually went out with you just so I could get to Mike.
Right.
Like, was almost the words that came out
Right.
of her mouth.
Yet I was
Right.
never getting laid back then. I don't know what happened. What's the disconnect here? I just couldn't close the deal.
Nobody liked my bug catcher with my fro
Mike,
going on. I mean,
we
it
were
was
too nice. Girls were literally throwing in our face, and we were just like,
We were young and
what
scared.
do I do with it? Like, we didn't pick up the signal at all. Like, I went to her house, and I'm in the shower. I'm like, okay. And she comes out just wearing a towel and sits on the couch. And I'm like, so what are we going to do today? Okay, totally like right over my head. Just
Wow.
right over my head.
The
Didn't
end.
catch the signal. I'm like, will you be my girlfriend now or something? Yeah. And then I lamed out on her, so she just moved on to the next coolest guy in the band. I think.
Dude, that's so crazy how we were that naive and young, and we didn't know what was in front of us. Not just girls, but in the music scene too. Like we're
I'm
just
sure her ultimate goal was Al, and she was just
working our way around.
it's up climbing the ladder.
What if it was Christopher?
Could have been.
Dude, that dude was rocking tennis balls back then.
He was.
Do you remember Athletic Christopher? It's like, no, I can't make practice. I gotta go try out for the tennis team.
Dude,
Or
quit the tennis team, you freaking jock.
quit hanging out with all those guys. So I'm gonna put that as a teaser. Scott opening for frickin' Helmet and Pantera. Like he just casually throws it out there.
Well, they weren't big bands back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Pantera wasn't. I mean, they went after that. I mean, because it was. I think Cowboys was released in like November, or I mean, like July or something, and then we played with them in October.
90.
Yeah,
90?
so that would have been that
90.
time, and then So, but they weren't big then. But then when they came back, they were in the main room. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then after that, then they were at the Civic Center or something. You know what I mean? They went up so quick because they were the only band that was really doing what they were doing.
Right.
They were the only ones that held. And so all these people that still loved metal,
Yeah.
you know, that hadn't bought the flannel shirt yet, that hadn't moved to the Seattle sound. They went to see
That's
Pantera.
a good point.
you
Groove
know?
metal became the thing. I remember the first time I heard Cowboys from Home, like there's a new band in town, you know.
Yeah.
See,
Made Metallica look kind of weak at the time.
this
Exactly.
But see, all this stuff back in the day took industry help. So you either needed a video or you needed radio play or both.
Took
But
seed
if you
money.
watch that first home video, Pantera home video, somehow this has all become about Pantera, but it's
okay.
fine. They played this thing called the Foundations Forum, which was like an industry, like a South by Southwest for metal or whatever. And they did this show and they blew away these influential people. That's when they got the like push. That's when they got this, oh, okay, we're going to put you on, you're going to get the budget to make a video for MTV. You're going to get, you know, it's all exposure. We know it's like there's bands that you never heard of from back then because they never got the push from like the record company.
Yeah.
Because
or
they
if
were
on the wrong record label too. I mean,
that too.
Okay. Anyway, if that felt like a half hour to me, so I think we should probably do another one someday. Whether it's Chris and Al and Scott or whatever, just in different variations, but we'll make it happen.
So.
We'll just take turns,
I had fun, and I'm glad that you guys invited me into this.
Yeah, I feel like you have all these stories that haven't come out yet.
Oh, there's a few.
But anyway, till next time, I guess.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.